Good evening and welcome to Stream of Consciousness. I'm soDugger and I am welcomed by my good friend Bill. I'm doing it. Bill, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. It's been a roller coaster of a day, but we made it. We're here. It's Thursday. Stream of Consciousness is going on, and we got Celeste. Like, could we ask for a better guest when one of our hosts couldn't make it?
Honestly, we couldn't ask for a better guest if our host could have made it.
It's very true.
Celeste, how are you?
I'm good. I'm pretty awesome. We're vibing.
Awesome.
I flipped to my camera, so it's better.
So now your camera is better.
The gooder camera, we love it.
So for those of you who tuned in last week we kind of went over who we were, what we like, what we don't like, what we have, our histories in streaming. This week, we're going to talk a little bit more about our streaming relationships, the anonymity that can come with VTubing, like what Celestea is doing, and building a brand and then being a brand. So we're going to get a little bit started. First question I'd like to ask, Celeste, what is VTubing?
VTubing is like a virtual animation.
You good over there?
I wasn't ready. Like with the hairband.
Playing with the hairband. That's fine. This is
So it's like a virtual, anime character that can pick up my face tracking and everything, and if I was 3D, it would pick up my hand tracking. And it's just something to do if I don't actually want to show my face.
okay.
It's pretty pog.
It
like
is.
It a lot.
That's awesome. Can you
As the kids say,
Pagachampu. Can you talk us through what the process is for not necessarily like rigging and like developing your own VTuber avatar, but like basically just having a VTuber avatar, and like what do you have to do to get that to work?
So there's a bunch of different programs for that. There's a lot of people now. Like back in the day, there wasn't a lot of people you could get like commissions from. So now there's like so many. So a lot of people back in the day had to learn the programs and stuff. I say back in the day, like this is like
It was your age. We only had 3 artists to commission our VTubers from. Now you newfangled kids and your 3D models and your 18 artists.
Well, it also depends if you want to be 3D or 2D. Like the rigging programs and everything are completely different. I like having a theme. That's why I wanted to be a VTuber. And
Right.
I think this is like the best way to like express it.
Okay. So when you were creating your avatar, did you believe at the time that this was like, were you specifically setting out to create a brand for yourself, or was this just kind of something that fell together?
So one day I was just like, I kind of want to start streaming as a VTuber. I didn't actually expect to like have a community or anything. I just wanted to do it for fun.
Okay.
And I've met some pretty awesome people from it. The VTuber community is pretty pog.
And now, out of the 4 people who have been on this podcast, you are the most successful out of the 4 of us.
I mean, I am a virtual anime waifu.
Virtual anime waifu. Okay.
Take my Prime sub.
You timers in chat.
That's something that YouTube needs to work on, I think, is YouTube premium subs, Yeah.
They have like that join program.
They do, but it's similar to subs on Twitch, whereas like you set a price and they can do it. Now that's the case. The streamer has a lot more control over what pricing and how many tiers there are. But there's no Prime system, right? So like on Twitch, because you have Amazon Prime as a background thing, you get a free sub per month. Whereas on YouTube, people who are YouTube premium, we don't see ads. Like I've never watched an ad on a YouTube channel. But we don't have like a way to join or become a member for free per month. That would be really cool. It'd be something that YouTube should definitely implement.
I feel like that would actually be really nice for YouTube Premium.
I think it'll come through at some point. I think if we really look at it, YouTube as a streaming platform is still very much in its infancy. Hey, they just started really supporting live content in maybe the last year and a half. Like, it's been available, but they haven't been pushing it as a site of live media.
Yeah, being live before for YouTube has always been, I mean, it's been a thing for years, but they've never ever put this kind of effort into it. But they've been recently trying to really push Twitch for that. They've been trying to get a lot more streaming content, like game streaming content on their platform. And they've added things like, I don't know if you've noticed, but like there are live streams on Twitch now that you can clip. Like you can clip videos, you can clip those live streams. There are ways to tip creators and like send stuff and stuff like that. So like it's interesting.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I think
I like the clipping.
I think it'll come along too. I think as the platform's getting more traction, YouTube is kind of doing the thing Mixer did now, where they're more or less buying established streamers. The difference is YouTube has a lot better funding than Mixer does, so they can throw money at these streamers and not put themselves in the hole.
Well,
and I think
yeah,
if they were to take, obviously with established guys like Lupo and Tim the Tatman, and I'm sure we're going to see more names coming over to YouTube specifically, or like Valkyrie when she first came over to YouTube.
Harris Heller. Yeah.
Exactly. If they can take some of these people who are experienced streamers and listen to the feedback that they will give YouTube, this can grow and become an actual streaming platform on top of already being the biggest multimedia platform, on the internet. I don't think anybody can argue that YouTube, if you are looking for video content, you are coming to YouTube.
I think probably one of the things that I'm really looking forward to for YouTube is, and something that I see is sort of separates it from like what Mixer did, right? Because Mixer came in and was like, we need to bring big people over. They brought Ninja, they brought a bunch of people over to Mixer, but Mixer was just streaming. It didn't have video content. It didn't have a lot of the interaction software. They had a lot of creator control, which was great. And a lot of people talked about the creator control, which was, similar to how YouTube does it, where like I can set my own prices, or I can do this, or I can do that. The fact that YouTube has 1 billion hits per day, unique people coming to YouTube per day as a platform for video, is far and away the biggest draw of people. Like the fact, like Twitch is amazing for streaming content. It's amazing for streaming games. And it's done so much for live streaming as a career and as a hobby of choice that you can't ignore it. But the traffic difference between twitch.com or twitch.tv and youtube.com is orders of magnitude. And so when you're talking about 1 billion hits per day on YouTube versus maybe 50 million on Twitch, the difference between 50 million and 1 billion is almost 1 billion. Like it's like, that's what you're talking. You're literally talking about nearly 1 billion more than 50 million. And so the pool of people is much larger. The ability for people to gain larger audiences. There's discoverability for smaller streamers. There's all kinds of interesting things that are available for YouTube. The problem is that there's a lot of interactive tools that are just not there yet. And Twitch does a really good job of catering to the viewer, whereas YouTube is doing a lot better job building resources for the streamer. And the other part of it that is a problem is that it's really difficult to get to the monetization side of YouTube. Like it's very difficult to get 1,000 subscribers. It's very difficult to get in front of enough. It's 1,000. Not only
500.
You need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So your content, like, and here's the thing, right? A lot of people have time. I have almost 200 videos on my YouTube channel, right? And these streams have gotten more traction than any of those videos. And I research SEO hard. And I did a lot of research into like what works, what's this thing gets hits, this thing gets hit. And it just isn't, you know, gaming content just does not do well on YouTube right now. But it will eventually. They go in cycles. So, but moving on.
So, are you saying, Duggar, that we need to ditch our existing content roadmap and just become a mukbang stream?
I'm down.
Actually,
Do mukbang?
wait a sec.
Yum, yum,
Wait a sec. You might have something there.
yum. We can drink pinkity drinkities all day.
Oh my God, I would definitely do pinkity drink. You know what? I'm sad that I don't have one right now. I knew Celeste was going to be on, and I'm sad I didn't go get one.
I have not had a pinkity drinkity since I stopped working at a dealership. It has been a solid like 3 months since I had a pinkity drinkity. No, I wound up having to put that pinkity drinkity into my gas tank.
I don't think that was good for your gas.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm pretty sure.
Trust me, I wanted that pinkity drinkity real bad, but that $6 was like, I need to make sure I can get to this place tomorrow.
I got you, gamer.
I love you dearly, though, Celeste. Thank you.
It's good. Pink drink is probably one of those things that I like treat myself with at least once a week, and I should probably do it more, but I don't.
The best part is like, they're literally fucking nothing. Like there's nothing in there that makes it taste as good as it does. Like what is literally what, like coconut milk and fucking strawberries,
strawberry puree. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's fucking nothing. It's literally 0 things. And it's just like,
It's 90 calories. It's
your 90 calories?
It's amazing. Most of those calories come from the puree. So,
gamer complimenting me?
Oh my God.
They're fantastic. So moving right along, part of the VTuber thing was I don't want to show my face. I want to keep the anonymity of my life, right? But also I like the social interaction, and I think that's interesting. Can you talk a little bit about, say, like the ups and downs of being anonymous like this and kind of creating this brand?
So I actually interact with more non-VTubers than actual VTubers because I'm a hypocrite and I like to see people's face.
We know.
Like, I mean, I don't mind showing my face eventually, but I like having a theme, you know. I feel like I have more creativity, like having a model, and like, I don't have to get out of my PJs.
That's like one of the real struggles that I think people don't talk about. On the topic of like things that we don't talk about streaming. Duggar, how many times have you woken up and been like, I want to stream, but I don't want to put pants on? Or I want to stream, but man, putting a shirt on sounds terrible.
I don't have pants on right now.
Fair.
Plus, my
like
background's
this is a
boring.
reason I don't stream half the time. This is a legitimate reason why my stream sometimes doesn't happen. Is I get out of bed and I go, we should stream today. Oh, let's do this. That'll be really fun. And I go, fuck, I gotta put a shirt on. Never mind, we're not going live.
I mean, I think that's why I like it so much. You know, again, I love having a theme. You know, I'm very into anime, so like being able to be like an elf and stuff, like fantasy stuff, like it's pretty cool. Like I can literally be anything I want.
Like a pickle?
Can you be a gamer chair?
Do you want me to bring the gamer chair back?
Be a gamer
Just
chair, Celeste?
don't break the avatar this time.
Don't break your model completely though, please. We need that.
I'm not gonna bring it back. Here, I'll stick it in the corner for you. But I don't know.
Where's the gamer chair?
I'm bringing it. Which one do you
Where's
want?
the gamer chair?
I've
The
got
gamer chair, bestie.
Not even the Bulbasaur?
Oh, we are getting so sidetracked on Gamer Chair, aren't we?
We are. That's a little bit.
I have taken this session of stream of consciousness and thrown it off the rails.
That's fine. Rails are for there's the cool, cute gamer chair. Are we?
Nope.
Celeste.
Gamer
That was
chair
almost
on the
bad.
shoulder.
That was almost a bad thing. All right.
No, it didn't break. My model's not locked, so it scrolls weird.
That is funny.
It'll be in my hair.
So one of the topics that I brought up earlier than stream, and that Bill was like, "What the fuck is that?" And we had to kind of walk through it. Was what a parasocial relationship is, and the relationship that we have with our viewers that is friendly and is a friendship of types, but the reality is we don't actually know those people, and they don't actually know us, and so there's potential there to create a friendship, to meet outside of streaming, to meet in places like this where we're talking in a Discord call, and we've done this outside of a stream before, and so those settings can kind of create something a little bit more. But what I wanted to discuss is, is there a benefit to, do you believe there's a benefit to being anonymous and having these parasocial relationships that play out? Or is it basically, do you feel like it's basically the same as if you had a guy in chat who kind of knows you too much or thinks that they know you too much?
Yeah, no, that gets a little weird when they act like they're really close to you and I don't know, they think they get special benefits from it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I don't like. But a lot of times, a lot of people respect me and they don't act like that. And they act like, it's just a normal, streamer to viewer type situation.
That it's interesting because I don't feel like I've had any of those interactions as well, which is weird because I feel like Bill probably hasn't had any of those interactions either. So it's kind of like
I actually have.
Oh, okay. Do you want to talk about it?
I actually have. Not to place any names or anything, but when I very first started streaming, one of my first viewers that was, a regular, that wasn't already somebody I had an existing relationship with, he had come in and would show up for every stream. That was awesome. That was like oh, hey, I've made it. This is a name of somebody I don't know who I talk to every day and has found me strictly for my content. And that's awesome. I think we've all had that moment where it's like, hey, this is somebody who doesn't know me, who just knows my stream.
Right.
And that is such a great moment. Well, after a while, as I had transitioned from, more of the niche nostalgia games into Hades and throughout that, they had, kind of disappeared, which is fine. Everybody's got real life stuff. That's cool. And then one day they show up and they're just like, hey, remember me? And I was like, yeah, how have you been? And then they started digging at people and acting like they were better than other people in chat because they were one of the first people in the stream. And it was so infuriating to me. Because again, I treat, like you guys know, and anybody who's been in my stream probably knows, I treat my chat like my family. I genuinely treat everybody in chat with, the same respect I would treat one of my family members. I look at everybody who comes in and is a part of my community as, to some degree, a part of my extended family. And to have somebody be like, well, I was here first, I'm the best, and Bill, you know me, right? It's like, yes, I remember you, and yes, I appreciate your support through the last 2 years, but that doesn't give you any right to talk down to anybody else. That you do not know me as a person. You know me as a streamer. You know me as a content creator. You know how I like to run things, but you don't know me. And that's something I think you guys know about me. I'm very protective of people. I'm always protective of my friends, my family, the people that matter to me. I will stand up and fight for. And like it struck such a sour chord with me to be like, nobody in any streamer's chat is entitled to anything, period. Mm-hmm. Like there is no point. I don't care how long you have known said streamer, or even what your personal relationship is with said streamer on or off stream. Nobody is entitled to anything in anyone's chat. The only person that has that entitlement is the streamer themselves. And just it's, I told many people who know me personally who come in my chat, like, hey, if there's something you need to talk to me about, please don't bring it into my chat. If you and I are having issues, do not bring it into my chat. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the situation is. Granted, there are exceptions to every rule. If it's something very serious and you're like, the only way I can get a hold of you is through your chat, then hey, so be it. That's a different story. But I've told many people, like, hey, you and this mutual person have this issue. If it ever bleeds into my chat, I am banning both of you out of my chat without a second thought. Because my stream is my safe place. And I like to make sure that my stream is a safe place for everybody who comes in. No matter what's going on in your life, no matter what kind of issues you're having, I want people to come to my channel and just go, hey, let's have a laugh. So like, yeah, that's the like one line I draw. It's like, don't act like you know me, and please don't act like you're entitled to anything. Literally the one rule of my stream and my Discord server is don't be a dickweed. Like, that's the rule. It's a very straightforward rule. The exact quote is, hey, don't be a dickweed. Appreciate the shit out of the present moment and be fucking nice. That is the rule of my stream and my Discord. Just be cool. That's it.
Specifically a dickweed, though, right?
Do not be a dickweed.
Okay.
Is that like a tumbleweed?
It's like a tumbleweed,
yes,
but made of
tumbleweed
dicks.
Of genitalia.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a tumbleweed that's made of dicks.
Like
just
a squeaky
flows
toy?
across, flopping along. That's a pretty hard rule, Bill.
I know, right?
I love it. Geese with all the good jokes. DS brings up a good question. Let's say you guys had a viewer who maybe found your personal social media, right? And maybe you're not like closely guarding your personal social media. But it's not necessarily connected to your streaming persona. And they tried to add you. What is your reaction to that?
I would be very concerned because my name is not anywhere. Like my last name, like if you find my social media, something wrong. So I don't have any like personal social media. It's because of this. It scares me. I don't want people to know what I had for dinner last night.
I will talk about my position and privilege in a second, but Bill, do you want to?
One moment. I don't know if it's me or if we lost stream again. But my stream is buffering on my end.
It's up for me.
It's up for you? Okay. Sorry, I was worried we had the return of technical difficulties. But yeah, for me, I have zero social media presence. Like, people could find my personal social medias and fuck it, whatever. Like, trust me, any dirt somebody's gonna get on me isn't gonna be for my social media. It's gonna be me saying something dumb on stream. Like, I'm a very open book. So like and not to, please don't take this as me saying anything negative. Whereas Celeste likes to maintain her anonymity and kind of separate, Celeste the person from Celeste the streamer. Bill the streamer is just Bill. I'm not, I literally have a name for my stream and people come into chat and I'm like, hey, just call me Bill. Like, that was one of the most accurate word situations I've had as a content creator is the first time I ran in Hermes Cup, which was the tournament we used to do for Hades before that ended. One of the commentators before we started racing for that day was like, hey, what should we call you? Because, like, sometimes in context, calling you doing it is kind of weird. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, it wound up being a giant sexual innuendo in the middle of, like, a conversation where it wasn't intended.
Wait a sec. Are you saying that you are not a giant sexual innuendo?
Believe it or not, no. This name has absolutely nothing to do with anything sexual.
Good to know. Make a mark of that.
And then so, like, I say, you just call me Bill. I mean, that's what my chat calls me. And then it was more awkward listening to, like, the broadcast back and hearing them go, and Bill, like, they were more awkward about it than I was. I was just like, just call me by my name. It's cool. So, like, yeah, if somebody, granted, I'm not going to add random viewers on my personal social media. It's all private anyways. So, like, I'm sure you could find me and be like, Bill lives in New York. Ha ha. But okay. Like, the reality is, with my background, having been in the military, having trained in martial arts for 20 plus years, everything I've done with my life since a young age was to be able to protect myself and my family. So if you want to, I don't know what your odds are.
I'll just come over and bring you a pinkity drinkity.
Pinkity drinkity. That's the best.
Yeah, I don't stress that type of stuff. My personal life and my stream life are very much interconnected.
In quite probably the exact opposite of Celeste, all of my social medias and all of my stream paraphernalia are all the same name, and it is 100% interconnected, and I am very present and very open about my life on social media. And I've thought about this. Like, I've actually had thought and conversation about this. I know people who are deathly afraid of being, like, stalked, or, you know, somebody finding out where they live and, like, coming to their place and that kind of thing.
Which is a valid concern.
Yeah, no, it's happened to me.
Yeah.
It's a very fair and real concern to have.
And the thing is it's a real concern, right? And so I keep thinking, oh, what's the problem? What's the difference? And the difference is I am a, 6'2" white guy. Like, I'm a 6'2" dude. So we were talking a little bit earlier about parasocial and talking about power dynamic. Somebody who's going to go stalk someone else is typically not going to go stalk a 6'2" white dude. It's just not a thing that typically happens. And while I see it as a completely and totally valid way of being, like with the way Celeste has her, VTube avatar, that is a completely separate entity from, the home life, right? So those are all, it's very interesting to me to see the differences that people have. I know some people who, like, I've got a friend of mine who is, deathly afraid of people finding out like that they have social media. Like, they don't want anyone outside of their own small friend group to find their stuff. And that is, it's something that I've thought about, but it's never ever been a thing that I've worried about. And I realize how much privilege there is in that. And so one of the things that I've started doing is always making sure that whenever we're doing something like this, or whenever we're doing anything where we're, where I'm highlighting someone else, I always make sure, hey, is this okay? I'm not going to throw, like, things that are not specifically Celestea up onto social media, up on the YouTube description. I'm only going to put the stuff that she has shared from herself. Like, I'm never going to, like, go do stalkery research on people. I don't do that.
Well, actually, before I was a VTuber years ago, I was a facecam streamer, and I did YouTube, and it was awful. Like the amount
I think
of
we
comments.
we all have that project that exists that we look back at and we're glad we've buried.
Nope.
I had 500 subs for
There-
YouTube, and it just like the kids at my school found it, and it got really bad.
That's a good question. We can go over it now.
There is definitely a YouTube channel from when I was in maybe middle school, maybe junior high, and it was myself and Joe is Hardcore. We literally used to sit in front of a laptop, record from the laptop microphone, capture an emulator screen, and just scream at Let's Plays. It's hidden in the annals of YouTube. Joe knows exactly where it is, but thankfully, nobody else does. Because, oh god, was it bad.
Yeah, no, I deleted my presence everywhere. Like, I have no, personal anything.
Also,
I
we did
deleted
have
it all
a...
before.
I'm sorry. I thought you
No,
I thought you were taking a break.
I just deleted it all before I became a VTuber, just in case if something would happen.
We did have a question from Nylock that I picked up while you guys were discussing social media. Nylock wanted to know, is it a complex setup to be a VTuber?
Well, it depends if you're 3D or 2D, but most of the programs you use for like the stuff I'm doing are free. And they're on Steam, and they're super easy to download. They're in English, because a lot of the times they're in Japanese, and I'm like, oh god. But no, a lot of programs are free. There's tutorials everywhere now. You can get free like VTuber assets from different people for free as well if you want to do that. There's actually a website where you can buy a model from for super cheap. And it's like, you get commercial use and all for it. Like, I think you could get a model for like $7 US.
That's awesome.
It just all depends. I prefer 2D, which tends to be a little more expensive than 3D. But it's just all preference. But half the time, the softwares are free.
I actually fell down the VTuber content funnel of like, how do I draw a VTuber avatar? How do I rig a VTuber avatar? How do I go about doing all this? And I literally went into how to do live 2D rigging, and like just so I literally watched hours and hours and hours of content on how to do all of it. And then I was like, I don't have the time to put in I could do it. I just don't have the time or effort to put into that because it takes hours and hours and hours. I think I'd rather just pay someone to build me an avatar.
Yeah, and the prices can range too.
Yeah. Like, it feels like that's the thing, right? If it was going to take me 30 hours to do it and I could pay somebody $200, right? That's better for me to just pay them $200 than spend 30 of my hours doing it.
Can I just say, though, I'm glad that I have friends who are artistically talented. Anytime I want anything done art-wise, it's always a commission. Because I have the artistic talent of a dead onion tied to a stick. Like, just nothing happens. There is no way that I can create anything. So it always makes me so happy that, like, I'm not the only one that's just like, fuck that, I'm commissioning it. Like, even my friends that are talented at that stuff are like, yo, that's like 30 hours of work. I'm just gonna pay this person $200. Because I'm like, I make stick figure. Here's $60. One emote, please.
Yeah.
That's why I'm learning to illustrate, because I have like a certain preference of what I want, and I want to be able to do it myself. So I've made some logos and stuff. I made my overlays and stuff. It's like
which are fantastic.
Oh, thank you. I like the simple ones. I love my logo.
Your logo is I downloaded the PNG file to use, and I could not find a good spot to use it and not make it look awkward. So.
Oh wait, which one? I didn't do my Celeste one. I actually made an entirely new one.
Oh, okay. I was doing the one that you had posted to your, the one that's on your Twitch right now is the one that I did.
So I commissioned that because I had no idea what the hell I was doing. So I made an entirely new one. I DM'd it to you.
Okay.
But I drew that out myself, and I was very happy with it.
Oh, so can I just give a quick shout out to Celeste and her ability to put her hat on literally everything? Like I'm gonna cut my camera and it's gonna make Dugger me, and it's probably gonna put me in Dugger's window. But one day we were just sitting in a call, and Celeste was just putting her hat on things, and I go, "Hey, can you put a hat on my squid?" So now there's a hat on my squid.
Yep, it just broke. It literally just broke.
It wound up shifting you and then put me somewhere else.
Oh yeah, it broke. There it goes. No,
broke.
There it is. No, it's fine. Now it's back.
Okay,
it's back.
okay.
It's based on window position.
Oh god, it extra broke.
It's based on window position.
It just shifted.
So.
Oh, you know why? I'm willing to bet in Discord you have show non-video participants unchecked.
I do. Yep.
That's why. Because last week I remember I turned my camera off and you were like, "I'm Bill now." Huh?
Yep. So I can flip that back on, but I turned it off while we had the other stream up. So
I love putting my hat on everything though.
Putting the hat on everything is good. I might have to draw
folder.
I might have to draw like a version of my avatar with the Celeste hat on.
I will give you the PNG for my hat to just stick it on.
Done. We're doing it. I'm doing that tonight. We are, in fact,
so I don't forget.
Doing it.
I do remember when Celeste put her hat on my squid and I changed my Discord profile picture to it. There were a couple of very specific people who got very jealous immediately, and it made me laugh so hard.
And they DM me asking me to put on their hat on stuff.
You make a business out of this, Celeste.
Definitely.
I'm getting a new hat.
Who needs to monetize their content when you can monetize adding a PNG on top of a PNG?
I have thought, okay,
I think it's great.
So this is a business idea that I have thought about. Speaking of VTubers and PNG tubers and stuff like that, I created all the assets for my PNG tube profile. And somebody had told me that like, that's like a thing. People want assets for their PNGers or their PNG tube. But I like built a desk and made like a little, coffee cup and had a computer and all that stuff. That
looks amazing, Dugger.
So I did all of those things, and somebody said, "Oh, by the way, you should do that and sell those assets." And I thought, is that a thing? Is that something that people do?
Yeah, no, I just sent you one that I have. A lot of people sell assets, and they're honestly amazing. And they're, I feel like they make the stream a little cuter and better.
It gives you like another means of expressing things too.
Right.
I mean, the thing I have in my hair is a VTuber asset too. But if you remember that little bisexual dragon I have, someone drew that and made it a VTuber asset.
That sounds like it's such a strange thing to hear if you don't know. Just hearing, that little bisexual dragon, right? Like, boy, if I didn't know you, Celeste, if I was coming to this from outside world and I was just like, what the fuck is a bisexual
I think someone on my TikTok asked me what it was.
Wonderful, beautiful thing, and I love it. But man, hearing those words put together out of context, like, my bisexual dragon, right? Like,
look, there's definitely space for a bisexual dragon back here. I'm gonna have to put something up for that. So. But yeah, so that little bubble tea thing is gorgeous. That's amazing.
I actually draw all my own bubble tea stuff, so all my bit badges and sub badges are from me.
I still need sub badges.
Brother, I told you I would draw them for you.
We can definitely do that. Mine are all the little octopus.
Until somebody else is like, and my sub badges, and I'm like, fuck fuck I was supposed to.
So like early on in my streaming career, this guy became kind of a little bit of a stream mascot, and so all of my sub badges for Twitch are the little octopus.
I do like how you've moved your emotes away from that as well. I remember all of your emotes used to be that squid.
They used to be the squid.
Or octopus. It's an octopus. I'm the squid guy.
Right, octopus. What's great about that is I wanted to have a little bit more creativity to my emotes, and so I decided to just start drawing my own, but as a way to like reconnect back to my art, you know. And so like I just started like doodling, right? And it was, you know, I've some of these are actually on, you know, Twitch right now, but like, and then I have this one, which is going to become an emote, but is not quite there yet. I haven't finished it entirely. And that's like the biggest preview I think I've given of that one. But, what was great about it was it wasn't a professional artist. I didn't buy it from somebody else. But it was my art, and I can see people in chat using my emotes, you know? And it's, I don't know. There's something about it that I felt really good about.
Make sure to put it in your panel section on Twitch. You can always say emotes done by me.
You know, I've been thinking about that.
We'll want to commission you.
I've been thinking about that because like, that's part of the thing that, and I'm going to send you this asset because I think it's adorable.
Please, I love all assets. I think they're oh.
And then this is my desk.
Oh, hold on. Oh god, my mouse is like lagging. Oh, cute. It's very adorable.
See,
I need to learn to draw stuff like that.
Like, so again, as somebody who would have better chances making art by lighting something on fire and hitting it with a leaf blower and just seeing where the ashes fell, I think my favorite part about the emotes that I have was like, I have concepts. I can conceptualize things, cannot execute them. It's literally not possible. Stick figures are awkward. They always end up in weird positions. So, you know, we just leave art to artists. But my favorite thing for me, kind of similarly to like the, you know, that's my art that people's using, was like, I approached one of my friends who is an artist. This is, you know, it's what she does full time. Who I known since high school. I mean, before high school, we pretty much grew up together. And I was like, this is the idea I have. And like, it was very vague. Like, I was like, this is the concept I have. I don't know what you can do with a 300 by 300 emote. Like, there's too many things that I want to do with this that I know you're not going to be able to do in the size of an emote. But that like collaboration and going from my concept to her finished art was so phenomenal. And then I remember that was like right around the time I started getting into the Hades community. And we used to do like community races just for fun, for shits and giggles. Literally no stakes, just like go meet the guys, you know, meet the community. Everybody does their thing. It was a great time, and it's something we used to do that we don't do anymore, and I miss it dearly. But I remember as soon as I got those emotes, people from my chat went into the stream, because we used to stream them as, like I said, like a whole community event. We used to stream on Saturday, Sunday. And then I remember watching that VOD back because I was racing after like the first time when I just got the emotes done. I just finished racing, and like most of the people at that point still didn't know who I was. Like, that's how new I was to the community. And then they were like, you know what? I don't know much about doing it, but that Zagreus emote's really cool. And like, that was the moment where I was like, I fucking made it. I had a good idea. A talented person made my good idea a really good production. And now we're here. Like, that was my first breakthrough into the Hades scene, was literally like, hey, that fast Zagreus emote's pretty cool.
It is.
And just to throw credit at my artist, at LexiWin94 on Twitter, my emote artist, wonderful friend, great artist. I can't brag about her art without promoting her art as well.
That's fantastic. So, getting back a little bit more on track. Celeste is just pummeling. Celeste is pummeling me with all of her art assets, which is good, by the way. I like it. It's awesome. But so kind of pivoting a little bit, right? Creating art assets, creating, the sort of feel and look of your stream. Like Celeste was saying, I like to have a theme, right? That kind of brings me to the sort of, not necessarily the last point, but one of the points that I wanted to make was creating a brand, right? And understanding that it is a brand. You are a brand.
I am.
You are the brand.
I
If you
am
look up
Iron Man.
Celestial Elf VTuber on Google, it'll pop up with me.
Yeah. So like, because that is a thing, right? And you have created this persona, you have created this whole brand around you, but that you are completely anonymous from that brand, essentially. How do you talk a little bit about like when it goes from like this was a hobby to this is now my brand, this is a business that I'm running?
Well, I actually didn't think I was gonna ever get past 100 like followers. So I wasn't ready for that, but I never like changed my personality for streaming. Like it's still me, I'm this dumb elf in a way.
I wouldn't
like,
say
when-
You're
dumb.
dumb elf. You're our dumb elf, and we love you.
I'm glad I never changed my personality for streaming, because I want people to still like be able to interact with me as like a human, even though I use an avatar.
Right.
I still want to be treated like correctly. So, actually becoming like a brand now kind of still shocks me, because I never thought I would get here. And now I have to do a female Waluigi stream because y'all hate me. Female Waluigi in a maid outfit.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So
Oh man. Okay, so one of the hardest things in the world to do, I think, is learning to not put on a show when what you have been doing your whole life is putting a show on, right? So like trying to learn to be yourself around other people rather than masking and becoming, what it is that society has kind of beaten into you that you want. And there's a whole discussion about neurodivergence and ADHD and autism and, depression and that kind of stuff along those lines. But one of the things that I feel is the reason that a lot of like ASD and ADHD people go into acting is because masking is such a second nature to us, right? So Celeste, do you feel that because you have this avatar, because you have this anonymity, do you think that lets you be more yourself, more, that where you don't mask?
Throughout school, I was always told my personality was really annoying and my voice was really annoying, so I thought becoming an avatar might not be the best for me. But I feel like I can actually like be myself on stream, and like people actually like really enjoy my, crackhead energy, as Bill puts it.
Yeah, you have major crackhead energy. Some of the things that you send me at any given time during the day have the most obnoxious amount of crackhead energy out of anyone I know. When at 8 in the morning, I get an aggressive Snapchat of just Celeste going ham, brushing her teeth. Man, that was not the right hand gesture to use, was it?
Not in the slightest.
Nope. Ah!
No, I promise it's me brushing my teeth very
It is,
aggressively.
it is absolutely Celeste brushing her teeth very aggressively. Like that's not an innuendo. That is genuinely on a daily basis. I get an aggressive toothbrushing snap.
Now everybody's going to be going out and trying to subscribe. Everybody's going to be subscribing to Celeste's premium Snapchat with the aggressive premium toothbrushing
only certain
Snapchat.
people have my Snapchat, and it's just more crackhead energy. Like, I feel bad for Bill sometimes.
I feel bad for me too.
You're the only
so
person
sorry,
I send my
I love you. I just exposed you to roughly 10 people live. How does that make you feel?
Well, the VOD will go live afterward and be jumped into the algorithm, so it's going.
I hope you don't mind that I shared that you send me toothbrushing Snapchats.
I mean, I don't care. At least people know I like do proper hygiene tactics.
That's true.
There you go.
That's true.
Absolutely. Remember to brush and floss, you guys. Oh man.
No, but like, yeah, I was bullied in school for my voice because it's not like super feminine. Like, I think it's kind of deep. Sometimes I don't feel like a girl, and I think it's okay.
Celeste, there is nothing deep or non-feminine about your voice. It is fantastic.
Well,
Don't let people bully you for it.
Celeste for Validity 2021.
Yes.
Well, and then I got someone the other day that's like, "Why are you doing a fake ooh voice?" And I was like, "It wasn't even redeemed. Like, this is my voice."
I've been in a call with you when you've not been doing the avatar, and you've just been like completely covered in blankets and like just
Dude,
you know,
always in blankets.
yes.
Celeste in real life is have you guys ever seen the blob snug emote? Celeste is the embodiment of blob snug.
Just this tiny little woman in just a snug all the time. Yes.
I'm a squishmallow now, and I've been bringing it around everywhere, and it's just so comfy. I'm holding it right now. It's in my lap.
See, I knew it. I knew there was some like excessive comfiness behind the avatar, and I love that about you.
Absolutely. Yep. No, it's
I'm in my PJs too.
Yeah, well, because you can be, right?
Must be nice.
Because you can be.
Shirt.
Yeah, at least one shirt. But like for me, right? My brand was always going to be me. It was always going to be this persona. I wasn't putting on an act. This is just me, who I am all the time. I am a very goofy, like ADHD nerd. And I love all kinds of things and do all kinds of things. And, you know, I feel like sometimes maybe there's a little bit of masking going on, and that maybe I'm not as goofy as I probably could be or would be, but I'm not sure that other person is me anymore. Because like when you've been masking so long that this is now who you are, it's a little hard to kind of peel that away.
That's why I try to do cosplay streams once in a while, so people still realize that I'm not just a model. I have feelings. Please treat me well.
I do have feel.
Wait. You're not AI?
Shit.
Sorry,
we
gamers.
We figured it out.
Yeah. Speaking of non-personal streamers, have either of y'all watched? I know Celeste has. Duggar, have you ever seen Code Miko?
Yeah, I've watched it.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Isn't it great?
It's
I
so amazing.
Down the Code Miko rabbit hole maybe a month ago, and I was like, how in the fuck have I missed this? It is like literally Code Miko as fucking cursed and like full crackhead as Code Miko content can go. It is the absolute like cutting edge of
Do you know what Code Miko is?
Real-time streaming.
Do you know what Code Miko is and why it appeals to a certain crowd? Code Miko is
please.
Space Ghost. It's
Is it
Space
really?
Ghost coast to coast. Well,
It
no.
really is. It really is. No, I never drew the connection.
It's Space Ghost coast to coast. It's just off the wall, random, you know, everything is random, and it's insane. The tech that she is working with is fucking top tier like really, really crazy top tier AI and video and voice and body tracking, and it is insane. I've seen some of the
wires connected, though?
Oh my god, yeah. She looks like one of those
crazy.
people that's like jacked into the Matrix. It's crazy seeing her in full costume.
I love her content though.
Yeah,
Dude,
like
there's so much
but
passion in that.
the interviews are the Space Ghost coast to coast interviews. They absolutely are. And
I like to think it's like now that I've made this connection, now that you've made this connection for me, I'd like to think that it's like one step above Space Ghost, but 7 steps below the Eric Andre show.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's a step above Space Ghost in that so in Space Ghost, I don't know if you guys ever remember this, but I've seen a lot of behind the scenes and I've talked about this, but they actually purposefully delay the questions and the answers. They specifically delay Space Ghost's answer to his questions so that sometimes he'll get an answer and then he'll ask a question when the person is there and interrupt them. And then that person feels like, oh, I got interrupted. But then I'm just asking a question, but like nothing's responding. They're doing that on purpose to make everybody frustrated. And it's basically they do everything slightly off kilter. Like it was so brilliant, but like unappreciated at the time. That show would absolutely slap right now. And it's because of like, if somebody were to do a live version of Space Ghost Coast to Coast on Twitch or YouTube, it would absolutely be a Code Miko show. It would be the exact same show.
Yeah. Which I think I feel like the Eric Andre show tried to do it. But like the Eric Andre show just goes like so far to the extreme that like even as somebody who has consumed that type of television their entire life, there are moments in the Eric Andre show where I'm like, okay, calm down. This is a little too much.
But yeah, so I think it's really crazy interesting. Have you ever thought about maybe doing like a full AI, like a full VR setup, Celeste?
So I'm actually getting a 3D model right now, and I was gonna start doing like VR chat hangouts. But I think it would be cool to like, get a full suit and stuff and get like hand tracking and everything.
Get
But
on
I'm
some like Ready
excited.
Player One shit.
Heck yeah.
So I'm getting the 3D model so I can dance in VR.
Oh
boy.
Are we gonna see some dance streams?
You mean my awful Fortnite dances?
You mean elbow cough?
Elbow cough.
Yeah.
YouTube.com. Best emote. It's right here. I'm putting it in chat too.
See, sometimes I wish I had hand tracking because I just I do so much with my hands when I stream.
Like YouTube managed to miss the mark so fucking vastly with this. Like somebody in YouTube, like somebody at Big YouTube didn't understand why emotes were so integral to Twitch. And then they were like, well, why do we need them? So somebody who actually has some idea, like, fed this to that executive, like, like as the example of like, yeah, this is like kind of what is important. And they were like, those ones exactly, put those ones there. And they were like, that wasn't the point, but so now we have elbow cough. Now you have elbow cough and things like let me see here. There's a social distancing emote on YouTube. Like YouTube tried. They were like, we can do emotes too. And then they fucked it sideways.
So that's the basic emotes, right? You can upload your own. You can do your own stuff and do your own things. They're not as important. Like the culture, the streaming culture on YouTube is a completely different beast. It seems like they're trying to bring more and more Twitch culture over to YouTube, but we always talked about this before, but Twitch is an island which nobody goes to and nobody leaves. So once it's really difficult to get people to come to Twitch, right? For those of you who are using social media to advertise your Twitch, so like, for example, TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, if you're using those things to try to advertise your Twitch, and you haven't reached a sufficient audience yet to really get like magnitudes of lower. We call it the content or the viewer funnel. So like, let's say you have 10,000 viewers on TikTok, right? You might get maybe 1,000 of those people to come over to your Twitch channel, maybe. And then you might have only like say 600 or 700 of those people may hit the follow button. So 10,000 people have hit follow on TikTok. You may get 750 of those to follow you on Twitch. The rate at which people leave Twitch to go to a different website, for example, would go from Twitch to YouTube to watch people over here, is orders of magnitude lower than the other way around. Somebody could find a YouTuber who has made YouTube content, who is streaming on Twitch, and it's much more likely to go watch them on Twitch than, say, somebody who's found a Twitch viewer or found a Twitch streamer on Twitch and then brings them over to YouTube to watch their content. Like, it doesn't work the other way for some reason, and it's very odd. And I think that it's definitely stumping a lot of the data scientists at YouTube who are trying to like algorithm the shit out of it. I don't know.
I think I witnessed that, like, personally. I shouldn't say personally, but I was a part of realizing that transition with a friend of mine, Lat Millard, who's a really big Hades creator, good friend of mine, good friend of the stream, where Lat does a category that we call fresh file to credits, which is starting a brand new save file in Hades and basically completing 10 full runs. It is about a 4-hour run, give or take. I think world record right now is like 3:42 or something. But Lat decided, well, since I have to upload these to YouTube anyways, and the act of processing a 3.5-4 hour long video can take a full day to, process, or to, not even counting like downloading the VOD from Twitch, cutting and editing the VOD, and then uploading that to YouTube. That's a gap of a day or two, and just the processing and posting part is a day on its own. So like Lat on Twitch averages between, let's say, 30 to 45 viewers. And like Lat streamed on YouTube to do fresh file to credits because he was like, you know what? Then the video will already be there, and it'll just be a matter of editing it. Maybe it will subvert the whole, processing issue. And went from 45 viewers on Twitch to, I think he peaked at like 10 on his YouTube stream. So like I definitely got to kind of witness that firsthand as somebody who's very active in Lat's community and the Hades community, and knowing like the pull that his name has within our community still didn't matter because Twitch exists in its own realm. Like, it was such a weird thing. It's like the first time I've really noticed it myself, being like, whoa, I didn't even know Lat was streaming today. Whoa, there's like 3 people in here. Whoa, chat is non-existent. Of course, you never say that. But like, those were the things going through my mind, was like, normally Lat has a very active chat, a very flowing chat. And for a hot minute, it was just like me and Lat. And then like, it was like me, Lat, and Siegel. And then it was Siegel and Lat. Like, it was really weird. But it was an experimental thing. And I think Lat decided that, it's not worth the significant dip in viewership to save the processing time.
So there's that example, right? And that's a great example of, say, a smaller creator, realistically a smaller creator. When you compare it, I mean, somebody who's getting 45 viewers on Twitch is in the top 1% of Twitch, but you use an example, for example, like Tim the Tatman, right? Coming across to YouTube, coming across because YouTube offered him a deal. He's got algorithm. He's got a channel over here already that's got 50,000 or so subscribers on it. I think it's more now, but at the time, I think it was like 50 or so thousand subscribers. He had like 1.8 million followers or something like that on Twitch or something like that. And he was averaging, 20,000, 25,000 people on Twitch streaming on a really good night. When he streamed his first time on YouTube, he was streaming to over 150,000 people. 150,000. That is an insane number. If 150,000 people were watching the same channel on Twitch, you're looking at you're looking at like they're broadcasting the Olympics, or it's like the CS:GO World Tournament. Like it is, the League of Legends World Tournament, right? Those are the events that get that viewership on Twitch, because the viewership on Twitch is so scattered, right? Whereas when you go to YouTube, the options are much higher. What I like to view it as is it's a much wider berth, so it's harder for smaller creators, people who are to get instant gratification on streaming and YouTube. People don't realize that like the amount of time I've put into my Twitch is, hours and hours compiled together to get to where I'm at as far as viewership. Whereas on YouTube, like they haven't put that effort into YouTube and garnering an audience. But YouTube has an algorithm for discoverability. The video that the VOD that you're creating goes right into the algorithm and immediately becomes part of that discoverability. So at some point, your video gets dumped in front of somebody. Somebody clicks it. That creates viewership and click-through rate. Your click-through rate goes up, which means it gets recommended again. Your click-through rate goes up, which means it gets recommended again. And so the more and more people that click on your video, the more your videos get recommended to those types of people, right? And so discoverability happens when I'm offline doing something else. Whereas on Twitch, the only time you're discoverable is when you are putting content out. Either you're live, or you're making content for TikTok, or you're making content for Twitter or Instagram, and you're posting it there and trying to get people to Twitch. So it's very interesting to me to see sort of like different perspectives on the difference of like YouTube streaming versus Twitch streaming. And to me, the decision on where to go, as like Callie asked, is go where if you're starting out right now, right? There's not really a reason to not do YouTube, but there's also not a reason to not do Twitch. I would go where you feel most empowered. Yeah, I would play with both. Honestly, before you sign the affiliate contract, or before you sign the, especially if you ever get partner, because the only, Celeste here probably will end up getting partner at some point.
What?
Yeah. What? Before you sign those contracts, before you sign those agreements, right? Stream on both. Just restream and stream to both platforms at the same time, and see which one does better for you, right? A partnered streamer on YouTube or on Twitch right now, I can't think of the name, but they're a Final Fantasy 14 streamer. They were dual streaming to YouTube and Twitch for months and months. Work to game, I think, is what it was. But the months and months and months and months, they were streaming to both. So they would literally, in comments, like when they were streaming, they would literally respond to YouTube comments and respond to Twitch comments. And that was what they did until they got partner on Twitch and they had to sign the exclusivity contract. That is, a real thing that they did. And I would recommend both. I would recommend doing that. Like, just do it both. I'm streaming to YouTube right now. And this is why I wanted to do it this type of format here. And Twitch does better for gaming content. It just does. It's designed for that, right? But Twitch is also trying to branch out. Notice that Twitch is also pushing talk shows more. They're pushing music more. They're pushing live events more. Like, I saw somebody the other day watching fucking football on their Twitch.
Yep.
Like,
Thursday Night Football is broadcast on Twitch now.
So,
or at least it was last year. I don't know if it is this year. Don't quote me on that.
but
But I know last year they did do Thursday Night Football on Twitch.
so that's what I'm talking about, right? Twitch is branching out and trying to get more and more people to their platform. YouTube doesn't need any more people on their platform. What they're trying to do is get more people to do live content. And to me, I like both. I love the tools on YouTube. I love the ability and the tools to monetize and to create and to, kind of, archive my content. My VODs will never disappear. They will be on YouTube forever. So it's like, whereas the VODs on Twitch will eventually go away, right? Even if I'm a partner, it only lasts for so long. So, like,
which I think is such a silly thing.
I don't know. Yeah, because that tournament I hosted, I was trying to save the VOD and it was too late.
Yeah, you literally have to download the VOD within like 30 days of the stream happening, or else it's just gone forever. Like that is the most just stupid thing. Like that's something that I wish Twitch would look at, is allowing creators to have more control over their VODs.
Partners do.
As it stands currently, so the vast majority of streamers on Twitch are affiliates. That's it. Like the partner is what, the top 0.2% of Twitch. If
I think it's top half
maybe
percent.
a little bit more.
Yeah, it's the top 0.5%.
Yeah, but either way, so the top 0.5% of Twitch has access to a bit more control over their VODs, and even then, it's not great. Like, there should be something more than your VOD can exist for 30 days or your VOD cannot exist at all. Because it's just such an asinine thing. Like, yes, how many people have genuinely gone in and rewatched an entire stream VOD? Very few.
I do it literally every Thursday or every Friday now.
Well, but in reality though, like out of the 50 million people that come to Twitch, what percentage of those people are going to their favorite streamer and watching the entire VOD of a stream they missed? I understand that it's not something that happens, but I, as a creator, would like to have access to my VODs.
Me too.
Like, I do sit down, like, I have to highlight pieces of my Hades streams so that I can pull that VOD later and break down where my errors were. So not only does that help me as a creator, where I have to rewatch my VOD and go, man, I don't like the way that I handled this interaction, or man, my energy was just really low that day. It also helps me as a player to be like, okay, hey, this is what happened here. And a lot of people on Twitch are competitive in some regard. Oh, I know there are plenty of people on Twitch who, whether we've had this discussion or not, that in reality, people are not there for the game. People are there for you. But there are plenty of people who are on Twitch for the game. There are plenty of streamers who are on Twitch just for the game, not for the streaming aspects of things. And like the fact that that tool is so incredibly unavailable on Twitch just blows my mind. If Twitch is like the heart of gaming culture. Like Twitch is what took video games from just being like the similarly to like D&D, when D&D first came around, where it was like, oh, it's that weird thing nerds do, to now we're at a resurgence of D&D where it's like, no, D&D is just cool. It's the same thing with video games. Video games went from, oh, they'll rot your brain and they'll make you murder little Timmy down the street, to no, video games are just something people do now, and that's cool. Like, we've kind of seen all of these things that were considered parts of nerd culture turn into just parts of everyday life for the vast majority of people. I don't know. It's a shame that something that is the core of literally an entire culture. Like Twitch is the heart of video game culture. There's no two ways about it. It is just a shame to not see them utilize that and make that available to people.
I think it comes from their philosophy a little bit. Like I said before, Twitch's focus seems to be on the viewer experience and not necessarily on the creator experience, right? The creator tools typically happen, they've been happening more recently, but they typically happen in response to something rather than, hey, here's some cool creator tools. Right. Yeah. So I think that that's definitely kind of where Twitch is at right now. And YouTube, I think, is in a better position for creators on the creator side of it, but in a worse position than Twitch on the viewership side. So like the view aspects or the viewer aspects of YouTube, I think, are maybe worse. But here's the thing, right? The way I look at it right here, like Twitch has, so much that you can do very well, right? The most successful people on Twitch, right, are still only streaming to 20, 30, 40,000 people. XQC hits 120,000 people sometimes. But the most successful streams on YouTube have 1 million viewers. Like, because there's just that many people here. So the ceiling is so much higher. Not to mention the ad revenue coming off of a YouTube video is so much better than the ad revenue that you would get on Twitch, right? If I run an ad, if I had a monetized channel and I ran an ad on YouTube while I was streaming to 1 million viewers, right? That's an insane number. That's an insane amount of money versus if I did that same thing on Twitch, I might not make much more money than somebody who's working 40 hours a week at a, mid-level job. So like, yeah, it's a significant amount of money, but you're literally talking about orders of magnitude different. And so I think that the potential for YouTube is much higher. I just think that they need to make some of the right decisions. But
YouTube still needs to grow as a live content platform.
Yeah.
And it's going to, if we're very honest, it's going to take YouTube years to
probably
get to that point. And how long has Twitch existed? Justin TV started in the late 2000s?
It was mid aughts, I think.
So like, I mean, here we are, 2021. Twitch has been around for, let's just say, roughly years. 16 years. Like Justin TV.
2011.
It was 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
and then YouTube came out in 2005.
Yeah, but I mean, Twitch has been growing and building as a live content platform, as something that is, like we had mentioned, the heart of gaming culture. Whereas YouTube has always been focused on video content and has never seen, or I shouldn't say has never seen, but has never pushed live content the way that Twitch has built their entire existence around it. So, I mean, in 11 years, we're still fighting with Twitch as creators for things that we want to see happen.
Yeah.
And that's 11 years into it.
One of the first
take YouTube time to push this.
One of the first gaming live streams I ever watched was from a group called the Speed Gamers. They are on Twitch now. They're fantastic. Justin TV launched in 2007, I think is what Geese just said. But I think they changed to Twitch. They like changed their name to Twitch in 2011.
They branded to Twitch.
Branded to Twitch.
Yeah, founded in 2006. Justin TV.
And so one of the first live streams on Justin TV that I ever watched was in 2009, and it was a Final Fantasy marathon from the Speed Gamers. So the Speed Gamers are, we get a little bit into this, you guys can search them up on YouTube, but they are on Twitch. There's a bunch of them. I'm really good friends with one of the creators now, anyway. But back in 2009, I was just some punk kid working in Aritas, and
Hey, yo, read us?
managing arenas.
Hey, yo, read us.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Eating
You got
on
that read us though?
eating on a gelati and like, you know, whatever, telling people what to do. But I had that live stream up because I was like, oh man, I love Final Fantasy. I want to watch these guys play it. They played through all the Final Fantasy games. It took them, I think, like it was almost a week long, right? They had a whole bunch of people come in from their community, and they raised nearly 60,000. I think it was like $58,000 for I think it was Act Today, and which is a autism care and treatment company. And now this was back in 2009, but they raised a ridiculous amount of money. They even got featured on their local news. They had their news come out to their house and like, hey, what are you doing? Here's this. And how you know, you've raised how much money? And it's like, but they played through a whole bunch of games. That was my first time ever being in a live gaming scenario. Like I was a viewer for the first time, and it was fantastic. That was, I think, you know, and I think back to it, I think it was then that I realized that this is what I wanted to do. I've tried a whole bunch of stuff since, but ever since then, I actually went back and looked at my like hidden videos on YouTube. I have videos of myself playing Mass Effect from like Justin TV era, from like 2011, 2012. Like
Post it.
like streamed to Twitch, or at the time Justin TV, from with like just radical weird ass graphics that I made. And just there's also videos of me playing like Cube World, because I was like, fuck Minecraft, I'm gonna play Cube World.
Cube World, I'm an edgy kid.
I'm the edgy kid. And like
Minecraft, Cube World elitist.
Yeah, and so I was like, it's so amazing to like look back on that, right? And to be like, oh, that is when I made this decision. I didn't realize it at the time, but that was when I made this decision. And, you know, I've come, you know, it's been 15 years, 12 years. No, yeah, 12 years since then. And, you know, I look at how far I've come. I look at how far, what I've achieved in the short time that I've actually spent time doing Twitch. And it's kind of amazing, to be honest. And I see, like, I started following one of my favorite YouTube groups, Game Grumps, in 2012. I started following them because I followed Aaron from Newgrounds, because I was a huge Newgrounds person. I loved all that stuff. Yeah. And
Sorry.
I came over with them and watched him start that new YouTube thing and grow that into basically a media empire, right? Oh, yeah. You know, and I hate to like single him out, right, specifically, but like Aaron nearly single-handedly did that, right? And it's this drive for people to become, you know, more, you know, to be this entertaining group of people, to be entertainers, which is what we are. We are essentially street musicians. And we're asking people
we
to
are tabaxi minstrels in the streets
the tabaxi minstrels of the well, we have an elf minstrel with us, so but yes, but yeah, it is, to me, in a world that's quickly becoming post-capitalism, right? In a world that's trying to do less harm and less harm each day, entertainment, to me, is probably the most noble form of job. Like, it's probably the most noble form of work you can do, is to entertain those people. So I don't know. That's just me.
Now, Duggar, as much as I would love to continue our conversation, we have hit our time.
We have. Yeah, it's a little after 9.
But that is something I would like to pick up on next week. What you had mentioned was, I want to talk about next week the pieces of content and the creators that hit us first, that that we might not have noticed at the time, but those were the people that made us go, I want to do this. I want to touch on that next week.
Okay. Celeste, thank you so much for joining us this week on Stream of Consciousness. It is fantastic and really actually interesting to hear your side of the story and your take on streaming, and kind of what you do and how you do it. Where can people find you?
Everything is Celestiva. I know I have Celestea, but most of my content is Celestiva, and I'm pretty much on everywhere, even your basement.
Oh,
links are in the description for all
yeah.
of Celeste's content.
So yeah, if you hit them up, Celeste, we've got her Twitter and her Twitch feed down in the description below. Bill, tell us what you're working on next.
What am I working on? Man, there's a lot of things. There's a stream I do every Thursday called Stream of Consciousness with soDugger and DStheOriginal usually. No, but in all seriousness, we're picking back up into stream content. I took a long break like 2 weeks ago. I took like a 10-day break. Coming back at it full force. We've been streaming a lot of Hades Fresh File. I'm hoping to get that done with so I can get back to making other content. But I am hyper fixated on finishing this. So as long as I haven't finished Hades Fresh File, that will be my stream content for the foreseeable future. You can find me on all platforms. If you enjoy the Chaos Gremlin energy, if you just need a place to take a load off and say, at least I'm not that idiot, you can find me on all platforms at @I'mDoingIt_. And like I had mentioned last week, and I'm going to mention every single week that we do this, if you have feedback, if you have suggestions, if you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see more. We'll be here every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If you have a suggestion, a topic that you want to hear 3 idiots from Twitch talk about, whether it be about the monetization of streams, whether it be about the major crackhead energy that we bring, whether it be how our personas personally and within our streams differ. That's something I want to talk about at some point, is the difference between stream bill and person bill, because I think there is a divide. No matter how close you try to make it, there is a divide between who you are and who you are as a streamer. Whether that gap may be huge or very minimal, it exists. So if you have an idea for a topic for us to talk about, leave it in the comments. Get into our Discords. All of our Discords are linked through our Twitches. Let us know what content you want to see. I'm sorry, Duggar, I did that thing where I ramble for really long. Duggar, where can we find you, bud?
So I'm available right here on this channel every Thursday with Stream of Consciousness, which I do with Bill, my friend, and DS, my other friend, who's not here right now, but he is kind of here in our hearts. We've done it this week with Celeste, who's also my friend, and we loved having her. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/soDugger. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/soDugger. You can find me on Instagram at instagram.com/so.dugger. You can find me on TikTok I know, spicy dots there. You can find me on TikTok at the same tiktok.com/soDugger.
So you can find them on YouTube at youtube.com/absentminded02,
because some of us created our YouTube page when we were in college.
Hey,
in 2002. No, in 2007. So
10 years ago, and I got my name changed to I'm Doing It, Dugs.
Yeah, well, I've tried to do oh my god, the changing your YouTube name is so difficult. It's a pain in the ass. So we're gonna get it done.
A month ago.
We're gonna get it done, but it's gonna happen. At some point, if this becomes a thing, we might move it to its own YouTube page, and that might happen. But we'll see. That said,
send it to your grandma. Send it to your friends. If you like it, make sure everybody sees it. Stream of Consciousness, Hype Train 2020. Stream of Consciousness for President 2024.
2020?
Woo!
Oh my God, Bill. All right,
We're going into the past, baby.
hype goblin aside. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on Stream of Consciousness for basically session 1. More content to come. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what you like. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that follow button. If you want to get notified when we go live, hit that bell icon. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye bye.